oh my God, this is so Scorpio, Aries, and Cancer coded. Like, these are the signs I think of when I think of this, of like someone saying, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I feel like Scorpio, Aries, and Cancer would look at the person and be like, really? Not your worst enemy? What's good, you guys? Welcome to Yap Therapy. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm not, but I hope you are. You know, like that's all that really matters here. And it is what it is, you know, not all days are good. Today's a Monday, and I hate when I have a bad day on a Monday because I feel like it just sets the tone for the rest of the week. But it is what it is. The moon is in Scorpio, so it's just like a Monday, the moon's in Scorpio, and I'm having a bad day. Like, that just seems like, ugh. Like, that's like the trifecta of bad energy. Not that the energy is bad when the moon is in Scorpio, but if the energy is bad and then the moon just so happens to be in Scorpio, I feel like that just solidifies it as an intensely bad day because you can get very much obsessed, right? Scorpio energy is all about obsessions. So whatever energy you're working with, you can become hyper obsessed with that. So I feel like if I'm going through something, if I'm having a rough day, whatever, like life is hard and then the moon is in Scorpio, it just amplifies the energy times 10. So that is very, very unfortunate. But it's cool because I'm here and I feel like I'm going to talk and I'm going to release and I'm going to feel better. And if anyone is wondering why I'm having a bad day, it's just I received some news that were not the best this morning. And it so happened to come to me when I'm like getting ready to film. And I always try to like not be, I don't know. I try to like be in my own bubble when I'm filming. I obviously put my phone on like, do not disturb, blah, 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 blah. Because it's actually it's like the creative process, just like any other artist. Like if you're distracted, you're not going to be able to create your best work. So I always try to like not go on my phone and like not be engaging in like intense conversations prior to filming. And I didn't do that today. I went on my phone and I saw something that I really could have dealt with after I filmed, but I didn't, and it pissed me off. And honestly, more than anything, it was just like disappointing news. Like I was excited for something and it ended up not happening. And every time that happens, I feel like it just triggers me back to like my childhood. I don't know how many of you guys still deal with the trauma of like getting excited about something as a kid and it not happening. Like it happened to me a lot as a child where like I got excited for something and it ended up not happening. So then I almost tell myself as an adult, like I shouldn't get excited for things because if I get excited and it doesn't happen, then I'll be disappointed. So it's always like this relationship of like wanting to be excited because I should just be excited and that's life. But then telling myself like, well, if you get too excited and it doesn't happen, you're just going to be disappointed and then you did it to yourself. So it's just rough. Like, does anyone else deal with that? Because I think it's honestly so annoying because like no matter what, I'm disappointed. You know what I mean? Because like even if it does happen, leading up to it, you didn't even allow yourself to get excited, Sarah, because you're so scared of it not happening. Or then when it doesn't happen, you're like, see, I told you I knew it wouldn't happen. So it's just like negative energy all around. And I'm trying to be nice to myself and kind to my mind because, we're still very much like in eclipse season and March is already like heavy energy astrologically. But it's just hard. It's just hard, I feel like, when you feel like you get bad news back to back to back. And it's just really hard to stay positive when you're in any sort of situation where you just feel like there is no light at the end of the tunnel. Like it's so easy to tell people like, just be positive, just be positive. But like, if you have been consistently told like bad news, it's really, really hard to remain positive. Like it's really, really easy to remain positive like at the beginning, yeah, right? Or like if something happens and it just happens once, like it's really easy to stay positive. Like maybe the next time it'll be better. But like no one talks about how hard it is to remain positive and be positive when it's like back to back to back, like bad news. Like how do you remain positive in that? You just can't help but like be down in the dumps, right? Because so far the energy has not been working in your favor. And honestly, what I'm about to say is sad, but like as a Capricorn rising, as a Saturn, Saturn is my chart ruler. So I'm very, very, very comfortable with Saturn's energy. So I feel like I'm kind of used to things not happening my way, the way I expect them to, or for me to run into bad luck or hardship before the good comes. And if you are also a Saturn ruled individual, you know what I mean? Like it just always seems like there needs to be extra work. And yeah, it is what it is. So if there are any Capricorn or Aquarius placements or heavy Saturn placements watching this, then I want you to understand that, like, I know life can seem so bleak and it almost feels like everything is hard all the time and it's just easier for other people. Like, I go through that too. I'm going through it right now, but I always try to remind myself that good things take time. I always try to remind myself of that. Like, easy come, easy go, right? Like, I love that saying. So if you are struggling with feeling like your manifestations are not coming to life at the pace that you want them to, and you are a heavy Saturn ruled individual, just know that, like, Saturn is working overtime to make your dreams come true. And the longer it's taking to come to life in this realm, that means the harder it's being worked on in the spiritual realm. Like, I full-heartedly believe that, or maybe I just tell myself that to make myself feel better. No, I really do believe that. I think the longer it takes, that means the more it is being fine-tuned, right, to be the best manifestation for you. And, a lot of times we think we want something, and there's something even bigger and better that is supposed to come into our life. So that is also another thing that I'll probably remind myself this week. Something that I try to remind myself all the time when I feel impatient and when I feel like, it just feels like life is not giving me the things that I know I deserve, So if you are also going through anything like that where you feel like you deserve more and you're not getting it, just know that you do deserve it. And if it's taking a while to get here, it just means that it's going to be that much bigger and better when it does show up, okay? Whew, I don't know why I'm getting, like, so emotional talking about this. Well, I'm, like, emotional today, and what am I kidding? The sun is in Pisces, and the moon is in Scorpio. Yes, of course I'm emotional. So, yeah, if that was a little too emotional for you, I'm sorry. We're going to get a little emotional here from time to time, and like I always say, I always want to be consistent with what I produce. I want to always be consistent for you guys as much as I can. Even if it's not the same day that I'm posting, I want to be able to have stuff for you guys out every week. You know what I mean? So there's just going to be times where I am emotional or I'm going through it and I still have to come in here and, like, film. It's not like I feel like I have to do this. Like, I wanted to do this today and I still wanted to do it after, the bad news that I received. So don't think that I'm forced to be here. I want to be here, but I also want to be honest with myself about what kind of day I'm having and what kind of energy I'm working with. And even better if I can use, what I'm going through to share a bigger message with you guys, which is what I always try to do, because I think everything relates back to astrology, literally everything. So, talking about, what I'm going through in my run of bad luck, I couldn't help but think about, Saturn's influence, on your life, especially as a Capricorn or Aquarius rising, or if you have Saturn in your first house. Saturn's influence on your life, it can feel like a gray cloud sometimes, a lot of times. Especially I feel like, in the beginning years of your life, right? Like everyone always says, like Saturn ruled individuals, a lot of your blessings and a lot of your ease and joy actually comes later in life. Like that's how Saturn works. Like you go through a lot of pain and hardship at the beginning years of your life, probably like leading up to your first Saturn return. And then it gets better. That is something that is always said about Saturn ruled individuals. So also remember that if you have heavy Saturn placements in your chart, or Saturn energy in your chart, just remember that, what you started with does not always mean what you end with. It's really easy to think like, well, I've gone through so much hardship in my life, so like that's just the theme of my life, and I don't want you to think that, because I refuse to believe that. That would be very, very sad. So yeah, all the shit you went through as a kid, as a teenager, in your 20s, whatever, leading up to your first Saturn return or in your Saturn return, don't assume that life is just always going to be hard because you were dealt, a difficult hand at the beginning. And also, I just remembered I'm still very much going through my Saturn return. Even though Saturn has passed the degree of my Saturn return, Saturn is still very much in Pisces. So I feel like the lessons are they're still being learned. You know what I mean? They're still very much there. So that's another thing where I cannot wait for Saturn to be in Aries. Because it has been, I'm tired of digging. It's too damn bad. You know what I mean? Like that's how it feels, but it's all good. I already feel better talking to you guys. So thank you for being here. And if you have, Capricorn, Aquarius in your chart, just know that I love you so, so much. And just remember that you deserve ease in your life and that all your dreams are coming true. It's just taking a little bit longer because Saturn, Daddy Saturn, he works hard. Okay? He's not just giving it, not just throwing shit around to give it to you, right? He's working on it. He's working on it over time to make it perfect for you, right? Like that takes time and effort, right? So just remember that. Okay, speaking of actually like growing pains, kind of what I was talking about with like, Saturn's influence on our life. I actually saw this post I found this new Instagram page called Typewriter Astrology. I'll post the post here. I love this account. I just found them like this past month. Go follow them on Instagram. And they had this post about like different years of your life as it relates to astrology, right? So it's labeled Growing Pains, the Astrology of Aging. And it's so fascinating. It's so, so fascinating. So for example, 7 years old, that's your first Saturn square Saturn. 12 years old, first Jupiter return. 14 years old, Saturn opposition Saturn. 21 to 22 years old, Saturn square Saturn. 24 years old, Saturn square Jupiter. 28 to 30 years old, first Saturn return. So like, and it just keeps on going, right? Like all of these like growing pains, like years of your life where are going to be a little bit more difficult because you're going through these changes and shifts to become who you're meant to be, right? And I was looking at it and I'm like, actually, this is really fascinating because I can only just even speak on myself. Like these are very, very, I feel like important years in your life, right? Like thinking about your 7 years old, like usually that's like first, second grade, like you're really going into school, right? I know for me, that was a very, very, very hard year. That was actually the year that I believe, I had we were moving to Turkey, where we were at Turkey. And then that's like when my dad kind of passed. So like that tracks. 12 years old. That's like when you're going into middle school, right? Like how awkward is everyone in middle school? Like you're just trying to figure out who you are. You're in this like tween stage, right? Where you aren't a kid anymore, but you're not really a teenager. Like it's just that awkward, weird time, right? You're trying to get your footing in middle school. So that tracks. 14 years old. That's usually when you're starting off in high school, right? Those beginning years in high school. Again, you are so different than who you were in middle school. You're thinking you're an adult. You're in this new playground, which is high school, right? You're again trying to form these new connections in this new environment. It can be very, very difficult. Growing pains, right? And then you have 21 to 22 years old, your Saturn square Saturn. And that is typically when people graduate, from college, if you go to college. And even if you don't go to college, I feel like 21 to 22 is still very important because like you're kind of thinking you're an adult now, right? Like you just turned 21, you're feeling like you can make your own decisions because you can legally drink or whatever. Like a lot of us, I think, probably thought like we were adults at the age of 21, 22. No, you are the child of adults. Like actually, you're the child adult, right? Like there's children and then there's child adults, which is 19 to like 24, right? Like that's what I personally think. And then obviously 28 to 30 years old is your first Saturn return. So, and everyone always talks about like, everyone makes such a big deal about like, turning 30, your 30s. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm gonna turn 30. Like it's such a big deal because then you really feel like you're an adult, right? So a lot of people, including me, can have like these big, big moments of like clarity after going through a bunch of shit in your late 20s, right? Like trying to figure out who you are. What is my career? Like, what am I doing with my life, right? Like I'm an actual adult now. Like this ain't no like 21 years old. This is like 30. This is 30, right? So that also gives very much, Saturn return vibes. And it just, goes on. And I just thought, that's so fascinating that like these years, in astrology, they very much fit into timeline of important years as it relates to even, society, right? Like all of these years, like first grade, middle school, high school, graduation, 30s, like it's just funny because astrology does not lie. And really think about it. Really think about these years for yourself. Were these big years for you? Did you feel like you had like these intense moments during these years? And I feel like everyone will most likely agree, right? Like whenever you're starting something new, you know, going into elementary school, middle school, high school, graduation, turning 30, whatever, right? Even 24 years old, I didn't touch on that. 24 years old is your second Jupiter return. That's like before you turn 25, right? Like that is before your frontal lobe is actually, you know, developing into what it needs to be. Your frontal lobe develops when you turn 25, right? Like everyone says that, and it's so funny that your second Jupiter return, you know, happens at 24 years old. And that is just so fascinating. So yeah, ask yourself, do I remember these years? Were they tough? I promise you, you probably do. You probably do. Because I think a lot of times we tend to forget what years we went through shit. Like we just have like memories. But when you really sit down and think about it, you're like, oh yeah, that was at that time. Oh yeah, that was at that age. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like it makes so much sense. I saw this meme. And it was just hilarious. Basically, it said, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, quote, right? And it showed this picture of this doll. I'm saying it for audio listeners. If you're watching, here's the meme. But yeah, it's basically this picture of this doll, like, giving you, like, a side eye, right? Like, what you mean I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy? Is basically what it's implying. And I think it's so funny. I have always thought that is such a weird saying. Because why wouldn't you? Like, why wouldn't you wish that on your worst enemy? Like, I genuinely believe that. And if we're all just acting like we're all so great and we're all just so kind all the time, like, perfect, good for you, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way something bad doesn't happen to you and you're like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Do you even have enemies? Because I promise you, I mean, I'm not sitting here and I'm like, I have enemies. Like, who are my enemies? It's really people that I just still to this day will never fuck with. I don't think I have like an enemy. Like, it just seems like such like a enemy just seems like such a strong word. Like, that's my enemy. No, who am I kidding? I probably have enemies. I just don't want to admit that I do. No, I don't have enemies. I have people that I will never get along with till the end of time, until we die, even in the next world or the one after. We'll never be friends. We'll never be cool. I fucking hate you. No, but I saw this and I was like, oh my God, this is so Scorpio, Aries, and Cancer coded. Like, these are the signs I think of when I think of this. Of like someone saying, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I feel like Scorpio, Aries, and Cancer would look at the person and be like, really? Not your worst enemy? Because I have wished a lot of things on my worst enemy. My thing is, when you have Scorpio, Aries, or Cancer in your chart, you feel things very deeply. You're a passionate person, right? Because, you know, obviously we talk about the Martians being passionate. Cancer is also very passionate. The moon has a lot of feelings, right? So when you are a passionate person, like, there is, again, a fine line between love and hate, right? In order to feel hate for someone, at some point, you felt passionately towards them, right? You felt something deeply towards them. So I think it's funny because people will easily say, yeah, that makes sense for Scorpio, Aries, and maybe they'll be like, well, not Cancer, but like Cancer gets in their feelings, and when people piss them off or when someone ends up being different than what they thought they were, Cancer fucking hates you. And Cancer is in their feelings about why they even allow themselves to have any sort of feeling towards you, right? Like, Cancer goes all in. All three of these signs go all in. Scorpio, Aries, Cancer. And when they are fucked with after going all in, that's when this love, this very passionate love, turns into hate and disdain and just anger. So this whole saying of, well, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, then you really don't have enemies. You really do not have enemies. If you would not wish this on your worst enemy, you probably don't have enemies. You probably don't have people that you don't like. Because when shit happens that bugs you, and if someone were to come down and be like, would you want this to happen to someone that really fucked with you in the past? I would say yes. If it's something dumb, yeah, fucking do it. Shit, why not? Like, you know what I mean? If anything, this is going to be good for their character development. So I'm actually helping them. You know what I mean? I'm going out of my way to help them become a better person. Who am I to take that away from them? Who am I? Even though they're my enemy, of course I want to see them win. So let it happen. Let it happen to them. I have such a fun fact for you guys. You are not ready. And I feel like this is actually the perfect time to talk about this because it's Pisces season and Pisces is all about love. So I have a fun fact about true love and you guys are not ready. So basically, true love has been proven by science to be able to last a lifetime. Did you hear me? True love has been proven by science to last a lifetime. This is giving Pisces, Virgo axes, because I know the Virgos listening are like, huh? Proven by science? Where's the fact? You know what I mean? Where's the truth? Like, let me know why you have come to that conclusion and you're using science as a way to prove true love. Don't worry, I got you. Essentially, they did a case study and scanned 2 different types of couples. Couple 1 believes true love only lasts the first few years of a marriage. So throughout their marriage, they slowly start drifting away from each other and believe that to be normal, right? Like, this is the first couple, and like that is just what they believe. They believe that true love is just not possible for it to last a lifetime. So naturally, they just start drifting, right? Couple 2 believes that true love can last a lifetime. And when researchers did brain scans of these types of couples at 70 years old, so basically the couples who believe in, true love at 70 years old, who have been married for 49 years, the scan proved their belief of true love because their brain looks the same as a couple who just walked down the aisle for the first time. Isn't that fucking crazy? They referred to it as a biological never-ending honeymoon phase. So I asked you, do you want to be couple 1 or do you want to be couple 2? Because I guarantee you, most of you guys want to be couple 2. I know I want to be couple 2. Who the hell wants to, like, what is even the point of getting married if you're just happy for that first 3 years and then you're just like, it's normal. I mean, we're just drifting, that's marriage. Ugh, don't get married then. Don't get married. Just continue to have, honeymoon phases with people throughout your life. What is the point of marrying someone if you are not going to have this type of love that withstands the test of time? Like, I don't understand why people get married if they don't want to give each other the same energy and the same love and the same sex. I mean, the same everything from the beginning years of their relationship. Like, what is even the point of ending life or, going through life with this one person if you're drifting? Like, then you can just live life with strangers. Like, if this person's becoming a stranger to you, what was the purpose of this marriage? Like, I don't get that. It's almost like some people just want to say they got married and to say, my husband, my wife, or even worse, when people are like, the wife, like, what? The what? Like, it's so weird. I just don't understand people because I genuinely feel like, a lot of times people just get married to shut up their family or to feel like they're going to be accepted by society, or they just feel like, well, I mean, I'm old now, so I should just settle down with the person in front of me. Like, all of those are terrible, terrible reasons of why you're settling down and finally deciding to marry someone. Like, if you don't believe in true love, stay fucking single. I'm sorry, stay fucking single and just fuck around. Learn something from Sagittarius and Gemini. Like, truly, because you're making other people miserable. Anyway, so you're probably asking, okay, well, like, what is couple 2 doing? Like, what is making this happen for couple 2? How is it that their brain, when scanned, looks the same as a newlywed couple, one that has just walked down the aisle? Like, that's crazy, right? So, couple 2 believes in these 3 things. These are the 3 things that couple 2 does to make this honeymoon stage last a lifetime, right? These are the 3 things. You maintain novelty, keep some sort of physical intimacy, and think positively about your partner, especially when you are in a fight. Oof. I feel like those things seem simple, right? But they're really, really not. Even just maintaining novelty, like keeping things fresh and engaging, like it's hard for people to do, especially when I feel like, you're just leading the same type of life every day, right? I also feel like if the person you're with is not your best friend, it's really, really hard to maintain novelty. Like, it's so easy to be like, be friends first. But really, I feel like that is such an important aspect of any healthy relationship that lasts a lifetime, is when you're friends first. Because if you are friends first, that is your best friend, and then, there's chemistry and romance, you will always be able to have fun with the person. Like, you're always willing to listen to their crazy ideas of what you think you should do, what you think you should watch. Ooh, let's go try this new restaurant. Like, you're always laughing together and it's fun. And you're willing to see them grow and change and evolve. That's what makes it fun too. I feel like if you are able to look at each other and be willing to grow together, because I feel like if you look at your partner and you're like, no, this is who I decided to marry, why are you changing? And vice versa. So you just want us to be the same every day for the rest of our lives. Of course, we're not going to be able to maintain novelty. Like, I'm always going to feel weird about bringing up a new idea to you. You know what I mean? Because you expect me to be this one type of way, right? There's no excuse for cheating. But what I'm saying is it's so easy for people to want other people if they feel like they cannot change in their partnership, or if they, pick up a new hobby, their partner's going to judge them, right? Like, you have to be your own person, and for your partner to be okay with you being your own person, because that is actually when the excitement can really grow in the relationship, is if you try something new and then you bring it back to your partner and you guys talk about it and then you go try it together, right? Whereas I feel like a lot of people, like, they refuse to change. They don't want their partner to change, but in life, you will change, right? Like, that is just a given. The only thing constant in life is change. But if you can't change in the relationship, I feel like now it's really easy for you to step away from the relationship and change as an individual outside of the relationship. And then soon you will start liking yourself more, who you are outside of the relationship. So then when you're in the relationship, you're not happy because you're not being your authentic self. You know what I mean? Like, it's easier for you to form new connections with new people outside of your relationship, because in your relationship, you're not being yourself, right? So that is another thing. Obviously, the second one, keeping some sort of physical intimacy alive. Yeah, that's a given. We have all heard, I hope you have heard, yeah, if you are not physically intimate with your partner, like, I'm pretty sure in therapy, like, that's one of the first questions they ask. Like, when is the last time you guys were intimate together? And they try to figure out why you haven't been intimate for a while. Like, if there's some sort of disconnect there in terms of physical intimacy, yeah, there's something wrong here. And for most people in most relationships, you need sex. So if you're not having sex with your partner, who are you having sex with? And I'm not saying that there isn't going to be ups and downs, because I think it's really, really easy to assume that you are going to maintain a certain schedule or a certain amount of times or whatever that you're intimate, right? But depending on what you're going through, your partner's going through, what life has brought upon you, that number will change, right, throughout the week, or however many times you're, being intimate. Like, it's going to change no matter what. But when I hear people and they're like, yeah, like, we haven't had sex in like a year or two. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, what? What do you mean? Like, what, are you okay? Like, you guys are not okay. You know what I mean? And it makes it probably that much more weird and awkward the next time you do it. And it's probably why a lot of people don't do it, because it's been so long and they feel weird and there's a disconnect there, right? So that makes a lot of sense. But I think the most important one, well, I don't know if it's the most important, but to me, it seems like the most important one, because a lot of people have difficult time with this, is thinking positively about your partner, especially when you're in a fight, right? It's like that thing where it's like, it's not me against you, it's us against the problem, right? But ego takes over in a lot of relationships, not just romantic relationships, and a lot of our relationships, working relationships, friendships, family relationships. When ego takes over, you've lost. You've lost the plot. You know what I mean? Like, because when ego takes over, you're not really thinking about whether you want to be happy anymore. You're thinking about whether you want to be right. Right? Because if you and your partner think about whether we want to be happy after this fight, you will work through a resolution. But if you're being selfish and you're thinking with your ego, or both of you guys are thinking with your ego, and you're telling yourself, no, I have to be right and you have to be in the wrong, cool. You know what I mean? You got a gold star for being the one that was right in this fight. How are you guys doing after the fight? Are you guys hanging out? Are you guys eating dinner together? Are you guys having a good chat after your fight? You're probably not, because one of you won and the other one lost, right? That does nothing for your relationship. Sure, it's a good little high for you personally if you won that fight, but your partner probably feels like shit. Or they think they were right too, and now both of you guys are at a standstill, right? Because neither one of you wants to admit that you're wrong, or that, maybe we're both wrong and let's work through a resolution. I think resentment is the biggest relationship killer, especially in long-term relationships. So couple one, The couple that doesn't believe in true love, yeah, they probably believe, hey, when we fight and I hate you, it's normal. Like, that's how it is. Like, we've been fighting for a while. It's been years. We've been together for 60 years. I've hated you for 59 of them. And, it is what it is. It's because we fight. And how can I like you when we fight? It's like, well, do you like your partner at all? Do you like your partner at all? Like, truly ask yourself, do I like my partner? Not do you love and care about them. Do you like them? Like, do they still make you laugh? Like, my thing is, for 95% of fights, you better be able to make each other giggle in the middle of a fight by saying some inside joke. Like, that's just how I think of it. Like, or like, you know what I mean? Like, it just has to be that easy. And again, for 95% of fights, because 5% of them are just so serious. But for the most part, like, I think that is a big indicator of whether you're going to last or not. Like, you have to be able to make each other laugh at the most inappropriate times, because trust me, I'm telling you from experience, you don't know how many times me and my man will be arguing and he'll just like say some shit, or I'll say something where like we cannot hold our fucking laugh. And once we do that, like, what were we even arguing about? Like, it doesn't even matter because now I'm fucking laughing, So I think that is just so important in relationships, being able to make each other laugh. And yeah, again, thinking positively about your partner, like giving them the benefit of the doubt. Because if you truly believe that they suck and they're wrong and that they're stupid, why are you with them? You know what I mean? Like, if you can't give each other the benefit of the doubt when you're fighting about something, why are you with them? Like, there's plenty of bad people in the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, your partner should be the one person that you can't help but see the good in them because you chose them. You chose to be in a long-term relationship with them and a marriage with them. I think it's just really important to have a good bounce back game when it comes to fights, because I think a lot of couples fight, but they don't really resolve anything. They just like let it go, right? But really it's like resentment that's building. So if you cannot talk about it and let it go and laugh afterwards, maybe they're not the person for you. Your person should be able to make your inner child feel safe, right? And your inner child wants to have fun. Your inner child wants to giggle and take life less seriously and bask in the joy of life, right? So if your partner doesn't, nurture that inner child, and if you don't nurture their inner child, your relationship is way too serious. It is way, way too serious. And trust and believe, if you don't find that with each other, the joy of laughing and the joy of not taking shit seriously, one of you or both of you is going to find someone else outside of the relationship that sees that part in them, and they're going to want to leave you, or they'll cheat, which is not okay. You should always leave first, but that's what it comes down to. If you can't give each other the safety and the joy and the happiness in that relationship, you're going to be subconsciously looking for it outside of the relationship. And that's when mess happens. I actually saw this post the other day, and it said, not all your life decisions need to be smart. Some can be purely for cinematic value. And I died laughing because honestly, who told us that every decision needs to be logical? And that every decision needs to make sense? Like, what is the fun in that? Like, what is the fun in that? And as a generator in human design, we're supposed to, as generators, go towards things that make us feel good. Like, if it doesn't make us feel alive, we're supposed to stay away, right? And as someone with an air moon, it's honestly, no, not even my air moon, my Capricorn rising, every time I'm going through something in life, I can't help but think, like, is this the logical decision? Like, is this what I should be doing? Is this the most responsible decision? I've been making responsible decisions for the most part since I've been like 7, since I've been like 6, and I try to tell myself, like, a lot of times we look back at our fuck ups in life and we're judgy, right? We're like, oh my God, like, does anyone remember when I did that? Like, oh my God. But then who would I be if I didn't have those cringe moments, right? Or like moments where I fucked up, where I was down bad, or I did some crazy shit. Like, those make the best stories. Those make the best stories. And if you don't have those from your past, or even if you want to have one tomorrow, do it. Because it's a memory, it's a story. And if you don't do it now, you're going to be 50 with a whole ass family, and you're going to be going through a midlife crisis. And trust me, when people are making stupid decisions at 50, people are going to look at you funnier than when you're making them at 20 or even 30s, whatever. Like, who cares? Make dumb decisions if you need to for the plot. I'm not saying be stupid enough to get caught. And don't be stupid enough to hurt other people. Take other people out of it. Take your safety out of it, because you need to be safe. Make all the dumb decisions you want if you feel like it's for the plot. You know what I mean? It's so easy to judge ourselves and be like, oh no, this is a smart decision. You know what I mean? This is what I should be doing. But what is your heart telling you to do? And I'm sorry if what our heart tells us to do is a stupid decision, then it's a fucking stupid decision. But a lot of times your heart and your soul will take you to places that your mind never will. You know, again, at the end of the day, we know that our mind is there to keep us safe, right? Like our mind protects us, but also our mind is the reason we have all this anxiety, right? Because we're like living in the future, or depression, living in the past. Our mind can sometimes be our worst enemy. Like that is what meditation is, right? Like quieting our mind, telling our mind to quite literally shut the fuck up because it's ruining everything. That is what meditation is, if you didn't know. When you meditate more, you're more in tune with your soul and your heart and your energy, right? I think obviously it's great that as humans we were given brains because it keeps us safe and out of trouble. But ultimately, I think that is what we're trying to do right now as humans in this spiritual age, is learn more than ever before how to quiet our mind and how to tell our mind, hey, you did your job for the day. I'm safe. I'm doing all the right things to remain safe. But now I need you to shut up so I can listen to my heart, so I can feel it in my soul and figure out where I need to go, right? Like there's just certain places that your mind will take you, you know, to keep you safe. But after that, your mind should shut the fuck up, right? But I think it's really, really difficult for a lot of us to tap into what our soul wants and what our heart wants. And, you know, ultimately your purpose is tied to your heart. Your purpose is tied to your soul. It is not tied to your brain. So I think that's why it's even sadder when our brain stops us from doing things, even if it's for the, you know, plot and cinematic value. Because what the fuck does our brain know? Our brain is trying to keep us safe, so it can literally hinder our progress, you know, when it comes to going after the things that are going to make us the happiest, right? Our mind can be that roadblock in between what's going to make us the most fulfilled, happiest version of ourselves, all because it's trying to keep us safe. So that's why shadow work is important. That's why it's important to tap into, you know, your brain and figure out what kind of fears your subconscious mind is telling you. Because the subconscious mind, you guys, oh my God, what is it? What is that percentage? Isn't it like making like 90% of our decisions? Let me look it up right now. Got it. According to research, a significant portion, estimated at around 95% of our decisions and behaviors, are driven by our subconscious mind. Isn't that insane? 95%. So people who refuse to do shadow work, people who refuse to just sit with their own thoughts, people who refuse to journal, people who refuse to, again, to be alone and figure out why they're making the decisions they're making, where their beliefs are coming from, they have no idea that they're making these decisions and behaving, you know, a certain kind of way, all because of their subconscious mind. Like they really think, I'm choosing to do this. Like who I am now is choosing to do this. Where in fact, your subconscious mind has been doing this for 25 years, for 30 years, for 10 years. You know what I mean? And you've been telling yourself, no, like I'm actively choosing to do this and behave this way. And it's like, no, baby, your subconscious mind has been doing it. And you haven't realized that. And you haven't tapped into that part of your brain to figure out where it came from, right? And whether you want to do it anymore. A lot of people assume that they have this control, right? Like they have control over their life and their decisions are their decisions, when in reality your subconscious mind is running shit behind the scenes, and you have never been further from your soul and your heart, right? And it's scary. It's scary because it's all about like relearning, figuring out who you are, right? Unlearning and then relearning. Because when you're reprogramming your subconscious mind, it first, you know, starts with you unlearning shit and seeing, okay, like this is what I've taught myself to believe. One of mine, to bring it back to the beginning of this podcast, I've told myself my life is going to be hard. My life is hard. My life is hard and it's never going to be easy. Like I'm not one of those people that's going to have an easy life. Like that is truly one of the thoughts, one of the beliefs that I have in my head, and I'm actively working towards obviously changing that. But when I learned that, it was honestly sad, because your brain, what you tell yourself, it becomes your reality, right? So like you're literally manifesting that. And I don't want you to confuse it with what I said about Saturn and having Aquarius and, Capricorn placements. That's not what I'm talking about. Like hard work does bring a lot of good things into your life, right? And sometimes you go through shit because you need to be sculpted into who you're meant to become, right? But that doesn't mean that your life is just always going to be sad and depressing because that's what you've told yourself you deserve, right? I also think because of how self-aware I am and how much I empathize with the world because of being an immigrant and, growing up in Iran and being a Scorpio, like I've always been an observer, right? So I just notice a lot of hardship, right, in life. I can't help but notice the hardship that people are going through. And when I notice the hardship, I've always been this way. I can't help but think, well, like there's people that are going through so much hardship. Like, why do you think, I ask myself this, why do you think you deserve an easy life? Why do you think you deserve good things to happen to you, for you, like that is what my subconscious mind made me believe, that like my life is hard and there's people that are going through harder shit out there. So don't expect anything, from this life when there are people out there who deserve good more than you, and that is so sad. That is so, so sad. So again, this all comes back to, the internal work that you need to do to move away from the scarcity mindset to the abundance mindset. And I always say this, it's not just about money, like scarcity and abundance. It's about good energy, good people, good opportunities, right? Like it's so much more than money, but money is definitely a big part of it. So it's really, really important if you are also who is going through this or has gone through this and you feel like your subconscious mind tells you that life is supposed to be hard, to really sit with yourself and ask yourself where this belief came from, right? Because for me, I can pinpoint where it came from, and I just need to, sit down with my inner child and do shadow work or whatever, right? And tell myself that I deserve good things and that life will give me good things because I deserve it. Like, I don't need to do a certain amount of shit or reach a certain amount of status for good things to start pouring in. Like, I deserve it as I am. You deserve it as you are. And guess what? 5-year-old you, 10-year-old you, they deserved it too. 15-year-old you, they deserved it too, right? I try to tell myself there are plenty of terrible people out there, you guys. Terrible. I mean, we already know not every person that is filthy rich and, comes from old money is bad, but we know enough about our society to think that a lot of them can be, right? Because they're entitled and, they lack empathy, blah, 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 blah. So what makes them deserve, what I mean? The fucking abundance in their life and the opportunities that come so naturally to them, but it can't come to you. It can't come to me. Fuck that. You know what I mean? So that is something that I remind myself, and that is something that I encourage you to remind yourself. There are plenty of bad people who have it all, right? And it's because they live in this state of mind of I deserve the best. So why can't you, beautiful you, amazing you, deserve the best too, right? Like tell yourself that. Remind yourself that you deserve the best no matter what. And there's plenty of opportunities and abundance and love in this world for you, right? There isn't a cap. There is not a cap. Just because other people are getting it doesn't mean you don't get it and that you don't deserve it, because you do. You deserve it and I deserve it. And another thing about your purpose, just to go back to that, is focusing on service and not scrutiny, right? Like it's really, really, really easy to get in your head about, what you want to create, what you feel like your purpose is, and what is calling you, what you feel like the universe is calling you to do, right? It's really, really easy to get in your head about what people will think. Like, I want to be a painter, right? I want to be a chef. I want to quit school and start creating content, whatever it is for you, right? It's really, really easy to focus on the scrutiny and to focus on the negative feedback that you may receive. And I could give you the basic advice of forget what people think. And it's really, really easy to say that, but it's hard to actually embody that energy of not putting so much emphasis on other people's opinion of you and your life and your choices, right? Obviously, we all want to be there, and I think we can all actively work to be there. It just takes a little bit of a longer time. But meanwhile, while you're working to tune out other people's opinions of you, when you're working towards, your purpose or doing what your heart wants you to do, meanwhile, another thing that I recently learned is to focus on service. And you're like, what do you mean service? Remind yourself that the thing that you're doing, it is a service that you're giving to this world. I full-heartedly believe whatever our purpose is, whatever it is that we're put on this earth to do, it is helping our world in some way. It is helping society in some way. It is changing at least one other person's life, and then they're going to change one other person's life. Like, it is all connected towards each other, right? Like, when we are all embodying what our purpose wants us to do, that is when the world is, I feel like, at its best and at its happiest, right? So before you allow other people's opinions and judgments and negativity and scrutiny to stop you from doing what you love, remind yourself that you are stopping the service that the universe wants you to give to this world. We all have a purpose here, and whatever it is that your purpose is, it is meant to help people. It is meant to serve people. In some way, it is. It really, really is, because we're all connected. We really are. So try to tune out other people's opinions and noise, or even your own brain. If it's being judgy, tune it out and remind yourself what it is that you're doing. It's going to help people. It is. It really, really is. No matter what your job is, you guys, it helps people in some way, right? Because there wouldn't be a job if it wasn't helping people. You wouldn't be getting paid if it wasn't helping people, right? So understand that when you finally start doing what you love and what you're meant to do and living out your purpose, that is actually when you're serving the universe the most blessings. That is when you're serving your fellow humans the best energy, right? You're being of service to them, doing what you're meant to do. So let that be the reason that you're motivating yourself to do what you love and to do what you want to do in life, instead of letting other people's opinions and noise stop you. You know what I mean? Try to tune that out. And if you can't tune that out, just remember that your service and your passions and whatever gifts you've been bestowed upon to come on this planet, if you choose to share them with the world, you are helping people. You're literally changing people's lives. No matter what it is, you are. You really are. Because whatever it is you're creating, whatever it is that you're doing, its energy is being given to other people. Whether they're using it or buying it or whatever it is that they're doing with it, its energy is affecting other people. You're making a difference. So let that be what motivates you in life, instead of thinking about what other people will think of it. Don't let other people stop you from reaching your goals and, manifesting your dream life. Because I genuinely believe that when you are living out your purpose, that is when you ultimately get your dream life, right? Like, that is when everything just clicks, because you're doing what you're meant to do on this planet. And then the universe looks at you and says, thank you. Thank you for providing this to other people. Thank you for being of service to other people. Now I'm going to give you everything you need and more, because you're literally doing what I wanted you to do on this planet, and you're affecting other people's lives, and you're making their lives better. So because of that, I'm going to give you everything you want to thrive on this planet. That's what the universe is going to do for you. All right, you guys, that is the end of this episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you made it till the end, I really appreciate it. I love kicking it here and chatting with you guys about everything. If you're listening, don't forget to come to the YouTube and leave me a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, comment about any of the topics I touched on. I love hearing you guys' thoughts. I hope this eclipse portal is being nice to you guys. It's not being so nice to me, but it's fine. It is what it is. I think it'll get better once the moon is in Sagittarius this week, right? I think it will. I love you guys so, so much. Have a beautiful rest of your week.